Do clothes make the man or woman? Welcome to Philosopher's Corner. I'm John. Do clothes make the man or woman? It's an old philosophical question, and probably the best place to begin is just, how do people perceive us, and how does it shape our identity, the clothes we're wearing? Right? That seems like a good place to begin. So if I were sitting here doing Philosopher's Corner and I was wearing, let's say, a chicken suit, you'd probably view the context of who I am in a different manner. In fact, I dare say you'd have to. It'd be weird if you didn't view me in a different manner. Or if I were sitting here in a samurai suit, you'd probably think, hey, what's this guy doing? This doesn't really, what's going on here? Your brain would start to cue you in onto the nature of who I am and my character, right? And furthermore, if I wore that samurai suit to a local bakery, people would be wondering what I was doing, because people are fairly intelligent and they would know what a samurai suit is, and they would know that it is native to Japan, and they would also know that it was built for ancient warfare. So they would be like, why is this guy at my bakery in an ancient Japanese warfare suit? I'm just trying to sell him, a croissant or something. So what's up with the samurai suit? So right off the bat, and it's helpful in philosophical exercises to use extreme examples so that you can get some quick answers if the answers have to do with relativity. So in this case, it's absurd that I would walk into a bakery in a samurai suit. It doesn't make any sense. But that absurdity kind of gives us a quick answer into, yes, the clothes absolutely set the context for what we're about to do. They give the visual cues. Remember, we're in a holographic universe, right? We're just light waves compressed into, a matter of being right now. And so everything about us is actually a vibration. And the vibration is just expressing information to other people who have senses to interpret the vibrations. So clothes, they're clothes in the third dimension, but really, truly, they're just information. They're just honest and they're information. And so within the context of this world, we have an already built-in set of contexts in our brains for clothing. Every person does, be it Aboriginal up to, first world penthouse dweller. They have an array of fashion options, and they assign them through both learning and subconsciously and just through experience to every sort of sociological assignment that the human brain can give it. And by that, I mean that the mind, and this is why we have science, because our mind has this need to categorize and label things, to put some sort of order onto them. And so when it comes to clothes, we have areas of our mind that immediately go, those are clothes for work, those are clothes for pleasure, those are clothes for recreation, those are clothes for right? Those are clothes for athletic activities, those are clothes for sexual activities, those are clothes for business activities, those are clothes for sporting activities, those are clothes you wear on a plane, those are clothes you wear to do surgery, those are clothes you wear to hide state secrets. So the mind has all these categorizations of the functionality and thus the context of clothes on the wearer, just on a real general spectrum. And that seems to be universal. Even an Aboriginal person, they have distinctions in their own mind, like, oh, that's a ceremonial cloth, or, that's a hunting sash or whatever, right? Like they have, the shaman has his whole outfit. Like, oh, the shaman's got his shaman stuff on. We're going to get our mind blown tonight. So the clothes are their information. So they're expressing this information to people like, yes, this is what I'm here to do, right? Like this is This is the thing. And when we further start to whittle those things down in terms of the mental perceptions we have about clothes, a lot of people, not everybody, but people begin to see the finer points and the finer sociological, like socioeconomic levels of what the clothing is attached to. Oh, they have a Tiffany diamond, they have a Rolex watch, they have an Armani suit, or conversely, oh, I saw those pants at Walmart, or that shirt is from 1985, right? And people they assess a person's level in the socioeconomic unit to the clothing and accessories they're wearing, right? Like women, oh, she's got a Coach bag and she's got, Prada shoes or Louboutin shoes or whatever, right? Like, oh, she's in that level. Or, oh, that skirt was from like 2 seasons ago. Or I saw that blouse at Walmart or whatever. So people they have a natural tendency to identify the clothes and try to back engineer the lifestyle, especially when you get into more materialistic areas of the world. That becomes very, very commonplace to be able to try to read where the person's at socioeconomically based on their clothing. So already we know that we're getting a lot of context about people based on clothes. We're getting socioeconomic levels, we're getting potential occupations, we're getting age, a lot of times you can tell what age people are. And then depending, even like more casual things, when people wear t-shirts with print t-shirts that have bands or media references or slogans, people mean those when they wear a shirt with their favorite band or a band they love, or a movie, or a little, slogan on their shirt, whether it's like comical or political or, whatever it is, some sort of social commentary, they mean it. They're communicating with everybody. Like, this is where I'm coming from. This is my perspective. It's like very right there. And, I think it's helpful. I think it's been a good part of clothing for everyone. Because once again, a good philosophical thought exercise to do is, we're always used to being in the present moment in modern times, but just move the timeline around, right? So like, okay, we're in 21st century right now, and let's move the time back to like 1500s and pretty much anywhere on earth, and look at the fashion of a person that's in the middle of the socioeconomic stratus anywhere on earth in the 1500s. You're talking actually not too bad, but generally like the same kind of like fashion. When you're talking to Europe, like leggings and like, I don't know, if you're poor, you're basically like in burlap sacks back then. But like, I think most of the average like middle class people at that point in time, they're wearing just like decent clothes, like that Renaissance. Well, it's earlier Renaissance, but how would you even describe those? Like leggings, tunic, basic like pantaloons, maybe a hat, and a collar. And if they're like farmers out in the field, whatever, just basically, work clothes. Not really any different than modern farmers, just put on some overalls, like the European modern overalls where, they're all cool. But basically just work clothes. But they weren't really expressive. It wasn't, they weren't traveling around like we were. They weren't expressing themselves. They were more just functional. And anyway, fast forward now, where the ability to customize yourself and individualize yourself has just really been accelerated. That's kind of the point of that. Anyway, so we know off the bat, the clothes set the context and give a lot of information about the person. So, do they make you? Well, I could put on a bunch of surgeon scrubs right now, and it doesn't make me a surgeon, right? Like, it would be not good for anybody at Cedars-Sinai to let me walk in and scrub in and start working on somebody's brain just because I'm wearing some scrubs. So in the extreme sense, do the clothes make the man? No. I mean, like, they can't like push me over. They can't bridge competency, right? Like if if I don't have competency in an area, then wearing the clothes doesn't magically make me competent at that thing. You know, I dress up like a lawyer. I'm not qualified to go argue in front of the Supreme Court tomorrow. That's not a thing. But if I dress like a lawyer because I want to go to my local, you know, law office and try to be a paralegal, or I need help, or I just want to be in the law world, or I want to dress like a lawyer and I want to go sit in a courtroom just to watch the court proceedings, well, that'll make me harmonize with the situation, and it'll start to attract the information that I need. And if maybe that inspires me to, like, you know, go to law school and become a lawyer. You know, you dress for the part you want, but that doesn't necessarily mean you've achieved the competency of that part or that you've become that part, right? It depends. It's kind of, I guess it's a horse and the cart thing, right? So in this case, the horse being competency and the cart being clothes. So if you are a competent person in a field and it has distinctive clothing associated with it or fashion, then that's fine. So, you know, you are that thing, and then the clothes reflect that. But if you're trying to be this thing and you try to dress like that thing, you know, it doesn't necessarily work. Now, there's an area where you're trying to become the thing and it's reasonable to bridge yourself into it. So let's say you're, you know, like Devil Wears Prada is a good example of that movie where, yeah, she's an apprentice in Prada at a high level design house. And she's no good at dressing, which is, you know, that's not, you know, she doesn't have haute couture taste as she's apprenticing for one of the top-notch design houses on earth to have a, you know, infamous reputation for having, how would you put it, ruthless taste, right? They really live by the fashion, die by the fashion in there. And the story is that she doesn't really have any good fashion taste at first for personal fashion. But she still dresses in the context of being, you know, a fashionista, of being in there to get into the world and work in there. And so she's making an effort, and then as she gains competency in there, you know, then she learns how to have taste, and like she harmonizes with that culture that she's in. And it's expressed through the increase in fashion taste. And, you know, that's a thing that can happen. Same thing with, you know, it's very common in business where people get into business and they decide they want to get very serious about it. And so a lot of times the first thing that expresses their seriousness about it is that they suit up. You know, they go for whatever they think is in their mind. Oh, that's what a successful business person wears. They wear this type of suit. They wear these type of shoes. They have this type of watch. You know, they get their hair cut a certain way, and they sort of put on some affectations to signal to the other people that they want to be successful, more successful, that they want to grow into being that person. And, you know, and this is them committing to it. So in a sense, the clothes and the way you go about it, they can help you harmonize with the direction of reality that you want to get into. And it lets everybody know that you're trying to harmonize and grow into it. So if you're doing the clothes with the hope of growth into them, you know, that's sincere and an honest expression. It doesn't always work, but it is a sincere and honest expression, and I think that's acceptable. And then where the clothes don't make the person is when you're trying to use that context to basically fake people out, con them. Okay, I'm going to dress like this because they're going to think I'm this, and then I'll get these benefits, but I'm never going to achieve that level of competency. Well, in that case, it doesn't make you the thing. In that case, in a way it does, because if you're thinking that way, it makes you a con man, right? So if you're thinking like a con man, and then you use that concept against people, like, oh, they'll think I'm this, so I'll dress like this. Then I guess it is making you that person, because if you're thinking like you're going to deceive people, then that's the case. But that is how powerful clothes communicate to each other. There's essentially an unspoken, unconscious trust in clothing when it comes to other human beings. Like, I don't spend my time, when people come up to me, I don't spend my time looking at them and going, oh, you're probably not that thing. Like, when I see people and they're dressed the way they're dressed, I let it go by fairly uncritically in terms of, oh, well, that's who that person is. And in that sense, the clothes definitely make the person. Like, if a woman comes up to me in a yoga outfit, I'm going to treat her in a much different manner than if she comes up to me in a wedding dress. It's just common sense. Do I know if either one of them's a con woman? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. So, you know, the actors know. Actors know the clothes do a lot of the work for you because they give people the visual character. They give you the visual context. So whether they make us or not, I think it's more about finding harmony through self-awareness of how you're dressing and the intention of why you're dressing that way. And I think when those things match up, when your sincere intention matches up with your dressing, then I think that they do. At that point, I do think they make the person. And I think that's most of the time for most people. And I think most people know that. Now, in terms of how profound it is or how much self-discipline they have about adhering to it, that varies greatly. And I think for how important it is versus how much awareness people put into it, I think there's a decent gap. And I think it is powerful. Fashion, I think clothes become fashion when you become aware of the power of clothes. And when you decide to consciously choose with intention the clothes that you wear for all your various activities in the context of what you're doing with your life, then it becomes fashion. Then it becomes powerful. And then it really, really does begin to make you. But I think before you're aware, it is continuing to make you, but the clothes are making you. You're not really making the clothes. Like, I think there becomes a symbiotic relationship when you become aware of it. Whereas, like, I spent, a lot of time in the Army, and they just give everybody uniforms. Well, if you stay unaware of it, then yeah, you're just a guy in a uniform. But if you become aware of it and you know how to wear your rank and you know how to, people can see all your schools on your chest and all the different stuff, and you learn how to let people read you through your uniform, and you start to harmonize with it, then it becomes powerful. Then it becomes like a second skin. And I think that's true for everybody. And if you think about it, if you had somebody like David Bowie, right? If you put David Bowie in a pair of $10 Walmart white overalls, he'd still look amazing. And you still go, oh, that's David Bowie. And you'd be like, oh, dude, those overalls are great. But if you put some, never did anything with his life slob, he's like 5'7", 250-pound dude, just doesn't care about anything, whatever. No harm, no foul, but he's just doing nothing. And you put him in the same pair of white overalls from Walmart, and he's looking slovenly. I mean, you're gonna be like, yeah, those look cheap. Well, who is this guy? So sometimes the clothes make the person makes the clothes. So you got to figure out the two parts of the equation, right? You got to figure out the person and the clothes, and then how aware are they? Because the clothes, they do make the person a little bit. At least they give the context. And it's the old adage too of like, are you wearing the clothes or the clothes wearing you? Because the function and the intention, the function and the information coming off the clothes can overwhelm the person if their intention and self-awareness is not high enough. And so when those balances come in and they become aware, man, the synergy of that, when it really becomes personal fashion, when you can get to a level of your self-awareness, of you with your clothes in the context of your life, and you make your wardrobe have intention to service your life in an honest and sincere way. And that doesn't mean it's always like your primary personality. You can have all these sort of flights of fancy or whatever, and even some things that aren't really you, but they're just kind of fun escapes. But mainly, if you see your wardrobe with the intention of servicing your life in a sincere and authentic way, then it becomes fashion. And then the clothes really do make you, because you're making the clothes. And then it's that nice circular yin-yang, you know, you're driving it. It's self-awareness. It's self-awareness driving manifestation, right? It's your intellect helping your material body and your emotional body, and having a nice energy going. So, do clothes make the man or woman? I mean, I think we covered it. We got pretty good coverage. I mean, mainly, and the more self-aware you become of it, the more personal and powerful it becomes until it rises to the level of fashion. So, well, as always, thanks for spending some time here at Philosopher's Corner. I hope you found it helpful. And as always, have fun.